Hello and welcome to Drinks with Ron. I'm Ron and I am at the beautiful trees right outside the local Tires Plus where I have an appointment pending because I'm up in Appleton for the weekend and it's been a long weekend and I haven't been in town 24 hours. So I'll give you a brief rundown. I had to stop at the Kush Cafe, as they call it downtown, fine purveyor of Delta 8, Delta 9, and THCA supplies. And even after the breakfast beer that I had, needed to take the edge off. So I got a 150 milligram gummy, which I promptly ate half of. And now I've got a THCA pre-roll. So apparently, whether my wife knows it or not, she's fucking driving home. Did a bad job. But let me tell you how we got here. Came up last night, my kid, she's the world champion tap dancer, currently reigning national champ. She's getting back into dance. She had a dance thing she got into up here. First time I've seen her dance since she won the national title, not a PCB. So we had to come up for that, right? So we drive up, take my wife's car. She has shitty tires. They're dry rotted all the way around. Cracked completely. So I've been riding her for 2 years about getting the tires changed. In fact, when we went down to PCB last year for the Dance Nationals, I told her we were not taking her car because those tires would not make it cross country. So, fast forward to now, driving to my daughter's dance performance. And I had to leave a little early, so we got there plenty of time. Got in the wrong lane, left turn only, took a left turn. Car in front of me did the same thing. So when I went to follow them down the street to get right back on the route, they actually stopped right in the middle of the street, threw the brakes on. Well, I wasn't going to be deterred. So I whipped in the parking lot on the left, whipped around 180 and started coming back down the street that I had wrongly turned down. Well, about that time, there was a goddamn median. Big cement median. Spray painted bright yellow. But I was looking to my right for oncoming traffic. So I missed it. Apparently hit it with a front tire, kind of ricocheted off. Rear tire went up over the top, and when we landed on the ground, you could hear the air coming out. So the tire was fucked. All I could do at that point was get the car positioned in a place where if I had to come back and either change the tire, get towed, or have someone change it for me on the spot, I had to be in an accessible spot where I also wouldn't get a ticket. So luckily for me, I was right across from a liquor store. So I parked her in that parking lot. Today we get up, start calling around the different places. Of course, it's Sunday, also Mother's Day. Not a real great day to need shit done, but I thought, who's booking tire appointments on Mother's Day? Like, this is only going to be people in an emergency, right? Wrong. I called around everywhere in Appleton. There was one or two places that did on-site tire changes, but they were like commercial fleets. So like if your 18-wheeler went down, they were going to come out. But anything short of that, you were on your own. Had to be an account holding member with a fleet of vehicles. So needless to say, we didn't qualify for that. Called a few other places. Some of them would, we'll tow you there. Like, no, I know how a tow works. That's why I was not calling for a tow. I don't pay $130 before I have to pay you for the tire. That's the whole point. I do it myself. There's a little jack, everything right in the car for somebody who's inclined to do so. Well, that's me. I can do all that shit. But here's the rub. I've done this years ago, and I've told this story a lot now. The year was 1997, and I was driving an 84 Ford Escort on the way back from a graduation party. Good and drunked up. My buddy decides he wants to start cranking my wheel around on me while I'm driving. I say, fucking knock that off, you're gonna blow a tire. Boom, there goes the tire. So there we are, hammered, flat on the side of the road. Luckily, another car comes up behind us, friends of ours. So I get the four-way tire iron to try to get these nuts off. Thing is, if they impact them on with enough fucking foot-pounds that it's insanity, you can't get them off. So I have my buddy Mike, who's like 6'2", 240. He's on the one end of it, lifting up on the jack, while I am actually physically standing on the other end of the jack, the four-way jack handle. So I'm jumping up and down on this fucking tire iron while my buddy Mike is cranking with everything he's got. We did not even loosen the bolt one. We had to give up. They were torqued on so bad. So yeah, that was my fear. My fear was that I'd pay for an Uber, I'd get to where my car was, I'd get the thing out and not be able to take it off, and then be standing in a parking lot with no Wi-Fi, trying to find the original places I had called to come and change my tire for me. Which by now I'd called so many places I couldn't even go through the call log and just call back, because it was, who knew at that point. So I finally found a place that said, we'll come out, we'll change your tire, $50. It was like, done deal. So had to Uber up, meet that guy, which we did. He was cool, changed it out real quick. I told him the whole lug nut story and dancing on the four-way tire jack, and he just kind of laughed. But he swapped us out. Luckily, that was the other thing. I didn't know if the spare was any good. I knew it was there. I had verified its existence, but not its goodness. So, Jesus. I don't recommend that. THCA is like smoking a rope. Terrible. But again, let me digress. So yeah, told him the whole story. He got everything swapped out. And of course, he's got to give you the speech before you leave. Now, before I go, I got to tell you, the spare tire's rated for no more than 50 miles an hour. Don't take it on the interstate, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, no, don't worry, dude. I have an appointment. Like, while he was changing it, I called this very Tires Plus and scheduled an appointment. So I was like, don't worry. I have an appointment scheduled for noon. We'll have new tires on this sumbitch, be on the road before sundown. And he just kind of smiled. I was like, what? He's like, I've heard that from a lot of people, and then I'll see him around town 3 months later, still with a donut on. And I just said, dude, I live 3 hours away from here. I have to drive home today, and I am not getting on that interstate with a fucking, the rest of my THCA, I'm not getting on the interstate with a fucking spare. I'm not your guy for that experiment. It's just, honestly, I should have pushed harder about these fucking tires, which, I'm the one shouldering some blame here, since I'm the one that, like a dipshit, hit the median, even though it was clearly painted yellow. But you can't put that on me. As I said, any decent tire survives that bump off the little fucking curb, man. So it was the final straw. I mean, that's like having a guy show up full of fucking tequila, stumbling all over your apartment, and then you change the TV channel and he pukes. Oh, well, you change the channel and he puked. Like, yeah, maybe I set him off, but let's not forget how he was in a position to be set off by something minor. So I shoulder some of the blame, sadly. It is Mother's Day, so I said, find your tires, and now you're not listening to me, bitch. It's just that they've been bad for so long, I just kind of forgot about it. But we literally pulled up to the hotel yesterday, and on my way to the desk to check in, I looked down and glanced, and I saw those tires, and I actually felt the tread, and I shook my head. It's like, there's no tread on these. The dry rot cracks. I was like, God, I can't believe we made it. And then, 2 hours later, there I am in a liquor store parking lot with 3 tires. But the rub is, we just had to drop my kid off. She's got some class or some such thing. And as we were dropping her off, I noticed there's a giant bulge in the wall of the front tire. So when I looked closer, those are dry rotted through, and I was like, you know what? The last time I had her car taken in, they did recommend 4 new tires, and I was just like, I know the back ones are bad, but you're not going to get me with 4 tires. So yeah, so here we are. I mean, they got a good cheap tire here. Well, the ratings are solid. Cheap tire, like $60. So, you know, it's going to be 120 before mount balance and the whole deal. Well, this place, after all that, comes to $240. So the install cost as much as the tires. And then when I realized I was going to need 4, it's like, oh, that's going to be $500 just so I can get home. So yeah, that's where the gummy came in. I did get a large drink. I feel better now. Don't want to gloss over my kid's performance. It was amazing. So awesome to see her tap again. Yeah, she's really good. And then afterwards, one of her friends wanted to meet me. That's awesome, because I'm like, I said, hey, I got dozens and dozens of viewers. I try to stay humble about it, but you know, what can you do? Literally dozens. So, and someone had asked the other day, Ron, more content, and I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it. Just usually now it's something like this where I'm stranded in a Tires Plus parking lot, cooked on edibles and THCA pre-rolls. But yeah, I'm gonna get inside and get to that drink. For as bad as that tastes, the cottonmouth is kicking in. So for Drinks with Ron, I'm Ron, signing off.